all the goal setting I did in bodybuilding allowed me to goal set in the rest of my life.
Hey, what's up everyone? This is Rory from Gym Partners.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt.
Our guest today is Dan McNab, aka Big Pell Nasty. You may recognize him from some of the DVDs he did with Anth Bells and Leroy Davis. He's a member of the Team Nasty squad. Thank you for joining us today, Dan.
Let's bring him in here. Big Pell Nasty, how's it going?
Mr. Big Pell Nasty. So
Let's go ahead and get right to it. So Dan McNab, Big Pell Nasty, you were, up until yesterday, an official member of the Team Nasty crew. What happened? Man. Tell us about the drama. It all went down yesterday, according to Anth Bells. Tell us what happened.
Well, basically my partner does online coaching as well as myself, and she got called, well, she's got a client that's doing a show, so she had to go away. And basically I'm left dog sitting, and I've been getting stick about this all weekend, but ultimately no one wants to look after a 55 kg cane corso.
I feel you. Well, that's funny because I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I have two tiny little 5-pound chihuahuas, but they just take over your whole world whenever you want to go anywhere. So that's cool. Well, yeah, I wanted to get in touch with you because I saw you made a post on Instagram a few weeks ago. You were talking about your, interest, and you had said, you used the word musicologist. So what is it exactly that you say you do as far as in the music realm that I saw you asking about the other day?
Sorry, I just realized what's in the background. So in my day-to-day, I'm a teacher. I teach music technology, so like production skills, acoustics, sound science, and that sort of thing. And I've been doing that for about 10 years now.
Awesome.
And yeah, my parents were both professional musicians, and I didn't really see the glitz necessarily in that. They've both done some cool stuff. They were both signed to record labels. My dad's been on countless albums and wrote music for David Attenborough programs and stuff. So
wow.
But I wanted to be a teacher.
That's awesome. So interestingly enough, before Rory and we created the Gym Partners app, which we'll touch on briefly with you in a little while, but I'm a professional by trade music producer myself. Ooh. So I've produced, numerous albums and been on Billboard and all that kind of stuff. And when you posted that post a few weeks back, I was like, first of all, I followed you for a while because of Anth and Leroy and our association with those guys. But I saw that post and I was like, damn, Big Pell Nasty sounds like he's kind of in the same world that I'm coming from. So yeah, dude, I've been doing production for years, all that kind of stuff, in a whole array of different arenas. So we could probably talk about that for a really long time.
I would definitely love to. Those who can't teach, they say.
That's what they say. Yeah.
How have I don't think I've ever heard that, but that just hit home for me.
Don't worry, it's been hitting home. It's been hitting home for me for 10 years.
Yeah, well, my mom's a teacher also, so I think did you have any kind of relatives that were teachers as well in your family that kind of passed it down, or?
Yeah, my mom went into teaching when she had my sister, because just the instability of the music industry and things like that.
Oh, so that was a thing back then also.
So I mean, that's an interesting dynamic though. Bodybuilder / music producer teacher. I feel like there's probably not too many of those out there.
No, when we played gigs, it was pretty weird. I tried not to turn up in a vest, but inevitably the vest did come out.
So did you? Are you actually a musician as well? Do you play a little bit?
I wouldn't regard myself as a musician. I'm a bass player. Although I probably got progressively worse since I was 15. I had like a live drum and bass thing and played in the UK supporting various people. We actually did a charity gig with Ed Sheeran once before he was famous.
Oh, nice.
He's from round our way. And then, drum and bass stuff a little bit. And then I just realized I can't stay up past 10 o'clock.
God, I wish I would have learned that. I still go out on the weekends and play still because I love it. But I guess to kind of, we'll try and segue, because again, dude, we'll hopefully get on again and chat some more about that stuff, because when you made that post, I was like, dude, I have a feeling we're like in the same world, and just for someone so far away with this other, gym partners project we're doing, I was like, that is kind of like Rory said, a little unique, to have a bodybuilder who's also a music teacher and doing that kind of stuff. So
they usually just think I'm the security guard.
Well, hey, that works, and especially nowadays in some schools, I don't know how it is over there, but here in America, you probably want to see a big pale nasty down the hall, like just making sure somebody's keeping an eye on these crazy little.
They
fuckers.
know that you can't hit them.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately,
you are still a very imposing individual, though.
So I actually saw you on the Bash Bros episode of that. You were pretty sunburnt in that one. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but no, yeah. I heard you mentioning that you were a music teacher on that one. So I kind of.
Yeah, I just have a red face.
So I'm glad you brought that up, though. The Bash Bros podcast, dude. The other reason I wanted to reach out to you, I definitely want you to plug the Bash Bros podcast. Dude, y'all are some of the funniest motherfuckers I've ever come across. I was like, you specifically, I was telling Rory before he really got on with this whole thing. I was like, bro, watch Big Pale Nasty. I was like, this dude is like comedian level funny for sure. So tell us a little bit about the Bash Bros.
Well, I was invited on the Bash Bros as a guest. And so I was like, cool, well, I hadn't really heard of it. It was kind of a friend of mine that I knew from Wales, which is close to, well, it's attached to England, for those who don't know. So he just asked me to come on as a guest, and yeah, it got quite a good response just for me being a bit outrageous, shall we say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't hold my punches very hard, although I'm working on it. But after being a teacher all week, I don't need to censor myself for a fucking podcast on the weekend.
That's right.
True that. Well, dude, that's awesome. And again, I'm excited to hopefully speak with you again, and we'll get into some more of those auxiliary topics with you. But I guess as always, we're trying to keep these things in individual episodes nice and short and to the point. So, dude, I'm glad we got that background on you. I think that's going to be fun to talk about, especially because, yeah, I'm the child of a teacher. I teach myself. I don't know if I had mentioned that, but I also teach at a school where it's basically more kind of underprivileged children, where we bring them in and we call it the Beat Lab. And we have MacBooks provided, and they, I teach them how to make beats and all that, and they really love it. So
that's amazing, and also something I'm looking to get into, because I'm handing my notice in at the end of this year. So
oh, really?
So I might pick your brains about that as well.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's been an interesting thing to get into for sure. So for all of our gym partner followers out there, what I was hoping to do with this podcast is kind of pick the brains of people. So, we're just kind of average Joes, not bodybuilders, obviously, but in the fitness workout space, my opinion was, hey, let's go reach out to some of the top people in the game, the people that are doing at a high level. And all joking aside, we mentioned you were official Team Nasty worthy, but you just got, kicked off for some reason.
I just need to do some groveling.
Yeah. So in order to work out with guys like Anth and Leroy, I mean, all kidding aside, I mean, y'all are some fucking savages, dude. Like, how do you perform at that level consistently?
Well, it's interesting because it's a unique style of training, really, that's very unpopular at the moment. Everyone's down to talking about sarcomeres and all this sort of stuff, and it has a place, and science does have a place. I don't know whether it's the same in the US, but in the UK, the science is outweighing the hard work, and it seems that people are so into the idea of bodybuilding and building tissue that they forgot that they're a fucking pussy. So that's kind of how I feel about it. Like, obviously, it's all from there. A lot of the studies, everyone's quoting studies. They're done on general population. We had Dr. Scott Stevenson. The newest cutting edge information on bodybuilding is that everyone's different. That's cutting edge, the newest shit out. So we can take a bit of science and we can take a bit of that, but everyone is different. It's just something that I always gravitated towards, because training for me was an outlet. I didn't want to be a bodybuilder. I didn't look at any superheroes. I didn't look at Van Damme or any, although Van Damme's fucking cool, right? I needed an outlet, I was an angry kid. I started training when I was about 21. I was on tag. The police put a tag on you when you're naughty over here. I don't know if they do that shit over there.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, basically someone brought me a bench round and were like, hey, pick this up. You might feel better. And initially I didn't. And it never was a plan. But I felt more balanced when I went and fucked shit up.
Fuck yeah.
And so the idea of doing all this feeling stuff and some of the training methods that they have now, it wouldn't work for me. It doesn't give me the payoff. And all I do is I have to adjust the amount of days that I train. So I have a high stress job as well, which probably doesn't help my recovery, but I only train 3 days a week. So a lot of people say, oh, you're in the gym every day. I'm not in the gym every day because of the style of training that I do. And although Mike Metzer came up with a very extreme version of high intensity, Dorian, took that and kind of like not watered it down, but adapted it for him and what he could do. And so it's just something that always has appealed to me. I've always watched that DVD, as I'm sure you have, Blood and Guts.
Oh yeah.
I must have watched that thing like a million times. And I spent the first year trying to figure out what the fuck Leroy Davis was saying. And actually, when I first met Amph, I had no idea what he was saying at all. Ever. He'd ring me up, and my missus would be like, "Did you understand any of that?" Man, but I'm working on it soon. Hopefully, he's going to send me an email and understand that.
Can I just say this? Okay, on Instagram, I always experiment where I'll manually do captions myself, and then I'll let Instagram do the captions sometimes. And the things the Instagram caption algorithm comes up for what Leroy is saying is definitely something to behold sometimes.
It's probably even harder for us because, we have slightly different accent. At least you're more accustomed to it. Sometimes, no offense, Anth, if you're watching this.
He even told us the first time, he's like, I'm going to try and slow it down so you can understand.
I love his voice at the end of the day, though.
Oh, absolutely. Well, so I guess to interject also, the whole inspiration for our Gym Partners app, which anybody out there that you don't know, it's basically, and to kind of just piggyback off what you were saying, I always thought and agreed with the idea that, intensity over this kind of volume approach in most situations, where if you're trying to, look a certain way, you need to push a certain level beyond what you're comfortable with. And most of that's mental. So when you do fire up the Blood and Guts DVD and you get into that frame of mind, okay, now I'm ready to fuck shit up. So that was the whole idea behind the Gym Partners was, okay, instead of, getting on YouTube, and then I'm like super ADD where I'll get on YouTube to watch Blood and Guts, but then I'm in the gym looking at like bunny rabbits multiplying, every 2 seconds.
That's my favorite video.
Just some stupid YouTube show where I was like, dude, and the first time I ever became aware of Leroy and Blood and Guts was after watching Dorian on Joe Rogan. And I had been a Dorian fan for a long time. I had Encyclopedia Bodybuilding. But when I saw Dorian on Joe, what was that, a couple years back now, I was like, man, what's Dorian Yates up to? So I got on YouTube for the first time looking up Dorian, and there was Blood and Guts, and there was Leroy. And I was like, holy shit, I am ready to fucking work out now. So I was like, I need to bottle this energy somehow. So that's what Rory and I basically did with this app, trying to bottle Leroy's energy into something that, and I thought you might appreciate, being a music guy, the idea that I found this side effect of the app was that by putting into it a button form where mentally you can push it when you need it, it's kind of like this weird little effect where it's like smelling salts for your brain is what I've been telling people. It's kind of an interesting effect. So you've trained with Leroy. Tell us what that's about.
Yeah, I've trained with Leroy loads of times. I'm very lucky enough to call Leroy my friend. He's coming to my wedding. He's a good man. He's a good stand-up, solid guy outside of the gym as well. And I just resonate with his energy as I do with Amph. So training with him, as I've trained with Dorian as well. And I've got to be honest, it was much worse training with Leroy. Much worse. It's just something about his voice. You're just like, it doesn't matter if you've got one more. You're going to fucking try. There's no way. You're not getting out of it. He will push you back in. There's no escape. Yeah. So you just have to just give it up. And although that sounds like quite negative in today's society, like, oh, you might damage me or like mentally, like it's not really like that. He's guiding you. And he's so experienced at spotting and strength deterioration. And he knows when you're being a pussy, and he knows when you've actually got one more. He's not actually asking you to complete stuff that's impossible. Right. He never crosses that line. So you can have complete trust in him that you're not going to drop any of this shit. He's not, he's just going to take you to that place. And even if you just go up every now and again, he's going to give you like 2 or 3 extra reps. Now, if you went home and just took 1 extra rep from there on, because he's moved the goalposts, then you're set up to make better progress for the rest of your training life.
Yeah. There's definitely those times I know I've had in the gym before. I'm sure everybody can relate where whatever it was, say on a squat or something, and it's just you have this mental thing, and it's even like sometimes just visual, like the way a certain amount of plates may look on the bar, and once you break through that and you realize, oh shit, it's not just 1 extra rep I did, it's 3 or 4 extra reps. And that, to me, from watching you guys work out, seems to be Leroy's specialty, is pulling out those extra couple where that mental block now is gone, and you realize, oh wait, I'm in a whole nother caliber here. So is that how you feel working out with him, you'd say?
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's a trust thing. You're in capable hands. You're in that guy. That's that guy I've watched a million times on Blood and Guts, and I trust him 100%. He's going to get me to where I need to be, absolute through pain, everything, mental barriers is gone. And so it's about the guidance and also the respect. I don't want to let Leroy down.
Right.
Fuck? Leroy, as soon as he turns up in the gym, it's like he's everyone's fucking dad.
Bro, we made this whole app was made basically for Leroy because it was that impactful. I was like, dude, this dude needs to be shown to the world. And let me just ask you this real quick, and I'll let Rory get another question in here. Do you think that obviously Leroy's initial claim to fame was training Dorian during his Olympia run, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So do you think, because I never really dug too deep into this, but kind of what you were just talking about, Leroy is such a powerful voice, such a thing of energy. Do you feel like with him training with Dorian during that period, do you think that was a much more tangible advantage that Dorian had, being able to train consistently with someone like Leroy? I've seen some discussion online like, oh, well, Leroy was just kind of there as his spotter and blah. And I'm like, no, this dude was putting Dorian through fucking war during these training sessions. That seems to me it had to be an advantage in some way. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, apart from anything, I'd like to pull first that Leroy was actually an incredible bodybuilder.
Yeah, I've seen some photos of him as well. He's super legit.
And actually, because Dorian was so great, he put his stuff on the back burner because the UK British Championships was the same weekend as the Olympia. So he never went and he never did the British.
I saw y'all discuss that on Bash Bros, actually. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but the thing is like, oh, he was just there and stuff like that. And even Dorian will say it was done off his own back. Yeah, it was. And without Dorian, it wouldn't have happened. But the energy that someone like that brings, you have to experience it. I'm an energy person. You can say whatever the fuck you like. But sometimes someone comes in and they resonate and you resonate with them.
Yeah.
Like, it's an unstoppable force. And I'm sure that Dorian felt that. It was some shouting and stuff, and people might have said that it was like they're putting on a show. It wasn't a show. It was just like raw. It was like no ego about the shouting. It was just what felt right at the time,
Yeah.
And it was guidance. It's an energy thing. Create that atmosphere. I've trained in Temple, and as soon as you go down those stairs, even just that place, is like, it's a different energy in that place. It's dingy. It's unfortunately doesn't exist. I think that we should have funded it somehow as a UK relic. But Leroy has that thing, and I think anyone who says it's nothing has never experienced a good gym partner. I have some people that I train with, and they're really great to train with, and anyone who's had a great gym partner for an extended amount of time knows the benefit of it. It's like gold dust. So having a gym partner like Leroy for all those years, you can say what you want, but it's definitely going to give someone a fucking edge.
Yeah, it seems like, fundamentally, he can bring out the best in people, get you to push harder than you would because, like you said, you respect him. So it's not like this fuck you Leroy thing. It's like you want to make him proud in a way. I got to get these reps for Leroy. I don't want to let him down. Seems like he has that effect on people in general. Like it brings out the best in them.
He cares. He actually cares. And that's what it is. People think it's like a big, like, fucking masculine thing. The reason he's doing that is because he cares about you getting this workout done. He cares about your progress. He gives a fuck. And, you know, that's why it's like that. And I try and bring that when I'm doing training as well. It's like you see the PTs, they're on their phone, they're fucking about and stuff. I give a shit whether the person in the gym is getting what they want out of it. They came to me, they said they wanted something. I want to make that happen. And Leroy, within that session, he's on you. He's on your team. He wants you to succeed more than him. You know, you don't find that.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I guess the thing that we were trying to do with the Gym Partners app, and of course, Leroy in person training you is a whole different experience, but his impact is so big that I was like, man, if we could just somehow bottle that in a way. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, in the gym, you know, a lot of this mental stuff certainly is just having that person, like y'all said, you feel like you don't want to let down, you feel like they care. And that's kind of what we were just trying to bottle in this app, where even if we only got, say, 70 or 80%, for a lot of folks such as myself who have to work out by ourselves pretty much 100% of the time, again, if you have a cool gym partner, that's awesome. But on those times when you really just don't feel like doing it and it's just me alone in the garage or in the room or whatever, having even just a little bit of that of Leroy has been something just completely life-changing for myself. And that's how impactful he really is, you know? So, I mean, shout out to Leroy. Of course, we love him.
If you have an emotional response to the way they train and the way Blood and Guts is set up, you're going to trigger all the chemicals in your mind that's happened by revisiting them with something like an auditory trigger like that. Just like a cue that you would run in your head when you're training, you know, like check the feel of this. It's that, like, if you've got a cue, you're an emotional cue. You're a musicologist. The longest memories that'll ever serve in your mind are the songs from your youth because they have the greatest emotional attachment to your brain. Yeah. Those are the most solidified memories because of the emotional attachment. If you resonate with the way he trains, with Blood and Guts and everything, it'll give it back to you. You won't even realize.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what, you know, I think a lot of us too, especially you on the music tip, we have our favorite songs a lot of the time where it's just, you know, for whatever reason, that's the jam that really gets you going. And that's, you know, what we were wanting to achieve is, okay, let's get the music that you got to have to do your set, but let's throw Leroy on top of it now and really set it off. So that's, you know, that's kind of the whole idea behind that. So yeah, we love all you guys out there because, again, for people like us, it's not that we're necessarily trying to be bodybuilders, but as somebody that does work out and you're just trying to be the best and also talk to some of the best, that, like you said, hey, the science says one thing, but at the end of the day, if you're working out like a bitch, you're not going to build tissue, and that's just the long and the short of it. And that's kind of where I felt like I was at a moment in time where I was just going to the gym, but not actually sweating. I was like, okay, I checked my card, I got in the door, but this is actually a waste of time. And that was right around the time I discovered the Blood and Guts thing with Dorian and Leroy. So that was super killer. Rory, you had any more questions for this dude? I got one more I can think of for this session that we got.
I don't have another question, but one thing you said that resonated with me is you kind of got into bodybuilding because your head was fucked up, you know, like troubled youth or whatever. I relate to that a lot. I'm not a bodybuilder. The way I stay sane though is through trying to get rigorous exercise in. Helps me stay balanced. I'd be off the tracks without it. So I just wanted to let you know that resonates with me. That you mentioned.
It's funny, we do the Bash Bros podcast, and we've had loads of people. You know, go and check it out. Loads of the top end guys, Olympia guys. We've been very lucky. I'd say 99% of the people, they're not training because they want to, or they didn't start training because they want to. They kind of train because they had to. Yeah. And I think that the people that, like, they have some demons and stuff like that, the outlet, because actually going and doing like the reps and stuff like that just to have a body, for me, I don't give a fuck. It's not enough. It wouldn't be enough for me. So the byproduct of the training hard, I thought I may as well just adjust my diet and do it. I found out I was okay at it. Yeah. And then I made something of it and became, like, you know, reasonably like good at it, won some titles along the way. But it was never my intention. It was just an evolution of a process of goal setting. And actually, all the goal setting I did in bodybuilding allowed me to goal set in the rest of my life. I went from leaving school at 14, going to special school, going through like youth offenders programs and shit. And I programmed my life like I programmed my training.
Fuck yeah.
And I went back to school. I got two degrees, a master's degree. And I sorted my shit out by applying the same principles that I had learned through training to the rest of my life and regimenting it. So most people, you know, and you say you're not bodybuilders, you go to the gym and you build your body, you're a fucking bodybuilder. I don't like this whole like segregation of like stuff. You might not be a competitive bodybuilder. If you go to the gym and you want to make yourself better, we're on the same fucking side. I hate this divide of like, we're different. We're not different.
I like it. Well, I will say this, though. The reason I always say that is because at one point in time when I was younger, I was definitely not any like competitive shape or anything. But and the last question I wanted to ask you for this session, because yeah, dude, it's been great chatting with you, and we wanted to keep these first ones short just as a little introduction, and we'll definitely get back on with you and we'll talk some more in-depth music and even the psychology kind of aspect, because I know you're a very well-read guy, as well as your extreme wit. So I didn't want to ruin it all on this first episode. But the question I wanted to ask you before we closed it off was, yeah, dude, you've done all these accomplishments that are awesome. Do you have, trying to give the people out there that might be listening to this, any tangible advice, you know, useful tips or tricks? And again, we're over here at Gym Partners, we're always thinking on the mental tip, whether it be regarding training, like maybe it's a little mental hack like that you use if you don't feel like working out, a hack while you're working out, even a diet hack where like you wake up at midnight and you go raid the refrigerator, or you want to. Are there any mental things there that you're using that have helped you along the way, you found?
Well, a lot of the things that I have now are the end product of stuff that I probably forgot that I put in place. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, the thing that keeps going on about like people keep going on is about motivation. Like, how do I stay motivated? Like I just get up and feel motivated every day. I feel shit in the morning like everyone else. And you know, but the thing is that I know and I've experienced it. If I go and just do it, I am still a baby step closer to progression. And my worst fear is treading water, to stagnate. And sometimes I think I'm going to have a shit session. I go in and I smash it anyway. You have to allow yourself the opportunities to fulfill them. The only way you don't manage that is by not turning up, you know? And so I would just say, like, you don't feel like it, go. I say it to my students as well that are struggling. I said, hey, just make it to the front door. Yeah. You know, if you're really struggling, don't stay at home, make it to the front door. If at the point you get to the front door, you really can't walk through the front door, well, maybe tomorrow you'll walk through it. Yeah. You know, so like set yourself up some stuff. And then move into non-negotiables. I set up non-negotiables, things that cannot be affected by anything else. And it takes years to like fulfill these. Right. And the mental training of getting yourself into these rhythm of having non-negotiables. On Sunday, I definitely train. I have to be really fucking ill, like not to do that. It's not negotiable. It's not impacted by anything. You know, my phone goes in the bag. I even said to my mum, if you die, I won't know till the end of the session. because nothing. It's not because I don't care. It's just I wouldn't know. I don't take my phone in because it's my time. Try and be active, not reactive. Your phone and letting people in gives them the opportunity to ruin it. And there's always something that you can figure out that can ruin it. Oh, I can't do this. My chicken laid an egg. Like whatever the fuck else has happened. You know, set up those non-negotiables and protect them by not allowing outside influences to come and attack you through, say, your mobile phone.
Yeah, so on that point real quick, and we'll pick it up on this maybe next time on the phone issue, because I really resonate with that. And ironically, we have a phone app, right? But the part of the reason that I wanted to make this app the way that we made it was just like what you're talking about. You know, we've had some people like, oh, well, if I wanted to hear Leroy, I'll just go on YouTube and listen to Blood and Guts or whatever. But like I said, as soon as you get into that YouTube world, or you go, oh, I'm going to get on Instagram and look at my favorite pros and that'll motivate me. Well, now, again, you're flipping through the fitness chicks or you're flipping through...
And you got a fucking ad coming up.
Right, you got ads coming up. And then next thing you know, it's been 10 minutes and Big Pale Nasty is about to fucking murder you because he's waiting on the leg press. So we built this app specifically to where the idea was you could get your playlist, because me personally, I have to have music when I'm working out. I just have to have it. But I have my playlist on Spotify or whatever, and then this app is not meant to be like a social media kind of interconnected thing. It's purely a tool, is kind of how we built it, where it's literally that Leroy special sauce in there that when you're really not feeling it, like you said, you got that built-in auditory trigger. And we'll talk again maybe a little bit more the next time about the psychology behind all that, because I didn't realize, so you said you have a master's degree as well?
In education, they call it it's a PGCE here.
Okay.
So you do like a master's research project and stuff. And I did it on, what did I do it? The expectations of young people, basically surrounding unrealistic outcomes.
Wow. Yeah, we maybe I would have a little external discussion on some of the teaching aspects as well with these kids. That's interesting.
Well, mate, you squeezed me into half an hour, but man, if you want to chat, I'd fucking go for days.
Sounds like we're gonna do another podcast then.
Yeah, dude. We'll get another longer one. And like I said, we're just trying to reach out to some of the people, especially like we talked about with Leroy and Ant. And again, shout out to Leroy and Ant, official Team Nasty, and the hardcore clothing crew, all those guys. But yeah,
I'll be back in soon. I'll be back in the crew soon.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they get you back in, dude, because I really enjoyed those DVD appearances that you made, and I was like, man, who would be the best? We've done one episode so far. This is the second, and I was like, who would be the best person next to get after we did Leroy and Ant? And I was like, it's got to be Big Pale Nasty for sure. So, yes. Hey, real quick before we close it off with the Bash Bros, where is a link that people? We'll put links in the description, but where can people find that? And then is there like a schedule that y'all are releasing on, or just give us some quick info about that before we close it out?
Yeah, so Bash Bros podcast is only on YouTube at the moment because we're all, we're all a bit rubbish, to be fair. We're just bodybuilders. It's not my podcast, owned by a guy called Johnny. In terms of the schedule, we have some pre-recorded ones that we're going to release.
Okay.
But Johnny's competing this weekend, so I think he's died in a bush.
Okay, so is that Johnny Reed?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, shout out to him as well. Yeah, dude, all you guys are great on there. I did manage to watch, I think, all of the Lee Priest interview, which was amazing.
We edited like half an hour of that out because it was so fucking outrageous. Like, even for us, I was like, he said some stuff and I was like, fucking hell, like, you can't. Like, we're gonna get done for like a hate crime or something.
Can I just say, being an editor, because I do a lot of video editing as well, now that you mention that, I do feel like I saw a piece where I almost got the impression like, I feel like they said something there that got cut out, but whatever. So I'm glad to hear it from the source right here. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. There was a lot.
That is amazing. Well, yeah, for all of our folks out there watching, if you've not caught the Bash Bros podcast, highly recommended. We're going to put all of your links in our description for this episode. We'll do the Bash Bros and as many people as we can find link for that. But Dan McNab, Big Pale Nasty, thank you so much for the first meeting here, we hope. And we really appreciate you taking the time, bro.
Congrats on your wedding, too.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Nice, short and sweet.
Oh, absolutely. The next one will probably be much longer. We'll go a little more into the weeds. But, yeah, dude, we really appreciate you reaching out to us. And, yeah, so did you get married yet, or are you about to get married?
No, get married on the 25th of June. So we were supposed to have already done it. But COVID came and told me we could have 30 guests, and we've got 113, so...
Yeah, I just went through that myself, so congrats on that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's not happened yet.
When and if it does happen, congrats to you and yours. Yeah. So, yeah, dude, well, good luck with the stress of that also. I'm glad I made it through that journey myself, but best of luck.
All right, good to meet you both. Thanks for having me.
All right, you too, man. We appreciate it.
Big love.
All right, have a good one. All right, well, that was Dan McNab, Big Pale Nasty.
Hell yeah.
Another one in the tank. All right, everybody. Hope y'all had a good one.
Hope you enjoyed it. See y'all next time.